Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football late Monday night. Brent Venables making it official. Michael Hawkins Jr. going to be the starting quarterback for this Oklahoma offense going into their week 5 matchup against Auburn. And I think for a lot of Oklahoma fans, and we talked about this Sunday morning, I think this makes a lot of sense. Like just the eyeball test that we saw Saturday night, Michael Hawkins brought more juice, gave this offense a better ability to be successful. But I think more importantly, and I think a lot of the Oklahoma fans who follow this team very closely realize this. This wasn't some sort of rash decision. Like they love this kid. You go back to the spring practice notes and what we heard coming out of fall camp. This is a quarterback that they believe they can win a lot of football games with. Now, I don't think Oklahoma thought it'd be this early because I think they thought Jackson Arnold was going to be the guy. That being said, like there's a lot of confidence in that building that Mike Hawkins is a dude. And quite frankly, the Oklahoma fans who follow the boys as we talk the recruiting trail, this was a quarterback that I thought the recruiting services just missed on. Like you go back to Mike Hawkins coming out of high school, 40 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, exceptional athlete outside of the pocket. This kid to me checks so many boxes, and I just don't understand why the recruiting services were so low on Mike Hawkins. Like I think this kid can play. I think he's playing a little earlier than we expected. That being said, brings a little bit of I think a change of pace to this Oklahoma offense that, quite frankly, needs that kind of change of pace. Want to get into a couple of different things. One, and I think most importantly, what does Mike Hawkins bring to this Oklahoma offense? What's it going to look like with Mike Hawkins at the helm? But I think I also want to go back to that second half against Tennessee and just take a look at a few reps that we saw from Mike Hawkins that I think inspire a lot of confidence for the Oklahoma fans fired up to get into it. Now, before we do, and as always, one would love to hear from the Oklahoma fans. I know there are a lot of differing opinions on the quarterback situation. Would love to hear from you guys, whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me. I'm just giving you guys my 2 cents on the situation. But nonetheless, the Oklahoma fans, y'all continue to show a ton of support to the boys, the highs, the lows. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into this one. I think you got to start with just the idea that Jackson Arnold at the quarterback spot for Oklahoma was just not doing enough in this Oklahoma offense. Now, I think what needs to be made clear, and you're seeing some people say, well, Dylan Gabriel should still be the quarterback for Oklahoma. Yeah, I think Dylan Gabriel might be the best option out of these three. I 100% agree with that, but I don't think Oklahoma, the offense is looking that good with Dylan Gabriel either, because you look at what's around the quarterback, it's truly a disaster, specifically on the offensive line. I mean, you can't run the football very efficiently. You can't pass protect. And when you can't run the football, you're getting behind the chains and then you're struggling in pass protection, not to mention half your wide receiver room is not healthy. This is a really, really tough spot for a quarterback to come in. Now, why is Mike Hawkins the guy to give Oklahoma the juice they need? I think it's because of how dynamic he is outside of the pocket. You look at the pass protection for Oklahoma, it hasn't been good. You need a quarterback that can extend plays, that has some twitchiness in the pocket. Now, Jackson Arnold is a good athlete in terms of being a linear big body that can run fast in a straight line. But in terms of escapability, in terms of being twitchy in the pocket, that's not really his strong suit. Mike Hawkins is. Like Mike Hawkins kind of has those shades of, how Kyler Murray used to operate in that offense, where he's just really twitchy, hard for defensive linemen to bring to the ground. That's what Mike Hawkins brings. And I think, quite frankly, that's what this Oklahoma offense needs at the quarterback spot where we sit right now, because the offensive line is not magically going to get better. I think at the start of the season, we were kind of hoping that, they would gel and kind of figure it out. Well, we've seen 4 games of just extremely underwhelming offensive line play. You got to go with the quarterback that gives you the best chance to win, that gives you the best chance to get outside the pocket and have this Oklahoma offense look a little differently. Jackson Arnold's a guy that wants to operate from the pocket. And when you can't run the football, you don't have playmakers on the outside right now, and you're struggling in pass protection, this is not an offense that Jackson Arnold can run at a high level, and quite frankly, just hasn't played all that good either. You take a look at the numbers, and he's 2 of 15, 20 plus yards down the field. That's a 13% completion percentage. You can tell that Jackson Arnold, the moment's big for him right now. And I think one of the things that makes me so confident about Michael Hawkins is they threw him out there He was dang sure not expecting to play in that football game. The moment didn't seem too big. Now, did he make some true freshman mistakes at the quarterback spot? Yeah, absolutely. We weren't expecting him not to make some mistakes, but from being a gamer in terms of figuring out how to move the football down the field, which is the overall goal of operating an offense, like Michael Hawkins, the moment didn't seem too big. He was able to make some plays, especially outside the pocket, that really brought some juice to this Oklahoma offense. Now, getting into what we saw from Michael Hawkins over the weekend, I think I want to start with, I mean, he's got a much better arm than I think a lot of people give him credit for. Right, Jackson Arnold has a Howard servant arm. That's why we were all excited about Jackson Arnold heading into 2024. Michael Hawkins' arm is more than serviceable as well. You take a look at this boundary throw, 3rd and 1, early in the fourth quarter. These kind of throws are not easy for a lot of college football quarterbacks. And quite frankly, I don't even think Dylan Gabriel could make this kind of throw, because what was the knock on Dylan Gabriel was there were certain throws to the boundary and certain throws to the deeper third that he really just didn't have enough kind of juice in the arm, if you will, to make those throws. Michael Hawkins, I mean, he can spin it. It doesn't get any better from the opposite hash to the boundary, putting it right on the chest. Really, really impressive stuff. Then you go to a few other reps that we saw. How about throwing off platform? This is what I expect this Oklahoma offense to look like moving forward, where you have a quarterback that is clearly really comfortable getting outside of the pocket, throwing off platform. Michael Hawkins can do this too, and especially with the struggle in pass protection that we've seen from the Oklahoma offensive line. Let's move the pocket. Let Michael Hawkins go be an athlete, throw off platform, put it right in the chest face mask of Jaquez Petaway. Those are kind of some throws that I would expect Oklahoma to ask Michael Hawkins to make going forward. And I think lastly, and arguably most importantly for this Oklahoma offense, the escapability, the playmaking that Michael Hawkins brings to this Oklahoma offense, where you fire this one up. We saw this a lot, just like Oklahoma not really picking up pressure. Free runner here. Jackson Arnold's dead in the water. I mean, this is a 3rd and 6. This is going to be a 4th and 20, and you're kicking a field goal. What is Michael Hawkins able to do? Make someone miss, twitch you in the pocket, get outside the pocket, and then go make a play. Go pick up a couple of yards. And again, that's not the flashiest play that you'll see from Michael Hawkins, but turning a 3rd and 6 to a 4th and 1 and giving you the opportunity to keep the offense on the field. Those are just some of the things that we didn't see under Jackson Arnold that Michael Hawkins gives you. And at the end of the day, one of the most important things about being a football coach is a kind of coaching around your personnel. And I think it's very clear that as we sit here post week 4, this offensive line is not SEC caliber, at least top end SEC caliber. And I think we can have the discussion about Bill B and what his future looks like with Oklahoma, because quite frankly, from what I've seen, it's straight up unacceptable. And then I think secondly, you don't have your guys on the outside. You're extremely banged up. You can't run the football. So you need a quarterback that can kind of you can lean on a little bit for some playmaking ability. And that's Mike Hawkins over Jackson Arnold. And I get the conversation about, well, you probably lose Jackson Arnold to the transfer portal, which is probably true. I would expect Jackson Arnold to transfer after the season. That being said, you got to play the quarterback that gives you the best chance to win. You have Kevin Sperry coming in 2025. You might go to the transfer portal to bring in a veteran quarterback to back up Michael Hawkins next year. But I think from what you've seen, and again, this isn't only just one half of football for Michael Hawkins. Like, you go back to spring camp and fall practice, this is a quarterback that Oklahoma believes is the future of this program and that can win a lot of football games. Heck, I remember some Oklahoma fans telling me Michael Hawkins should be the starter back in the summer. I thought that was crazy at the time. It doesn't look so crazy right now. I'm excited to see what Michael Hawkins can do against an Auburn defense that, quite frankly, has struggled with mobile quarterbacks. Struggled with Taylor Green a little bit, but struggled with the New Mexico quarterback and Devin Dampier. Struggled with Fernando Mendoza, at Cal. I'm excited to see what Michael Hawkins can do. Throw the kid into the fire, see what he can do. But I think most importantly, he fits how this Oklahoma offense needs to operate in the 2024 season. We'll sign it out there again. Would love to hear from you guys in the comment section, whether you agree with me, whether you disagree with me. Appreciate the support y'all have shown, and we'll talk to y'all later.